Hey guys, it's M4J here and welcome back to M4J Transport here on Cities in Motion 2. Today we are doing another big build, and this is a big build. This is kind of a follow-on to a request from Youngwee, and also in line with something that I was planning on doing anyway. We are building a large underground hub. Now I sort of put underground in inverted commas for this because some of it isn't, mainly because of the topography of the land that I chose to build it on. But you know, over half of it is underground, so it's technically an underground hub with some above ground sections. The Rathaus, which is one of the landmarks in game, is to be built on top of the hub. In fact, you can see here I'm just sizing it up. The Rathaus is probably one of the smallest square shaped landmarks in the game. There are smaller buildings such as the skyscrapers. I think even the Patronus Towers is just about still smaller than the Rathaus, but the request was for the Rathaus to be built on top of an underground hub. This is something I was talking to Josh about as well. To list everyone who should be credited with this hub, it would take a long time, but the two main instigators, and I say instigators because I don't know, it's not always a bad word, instigators, but the two main culprits for this this build today are Youngwee and Josh. So what am I building? Majority of this hub will be for buses and trolleys, and by the end of this episode you will see how exactly that is going to work. The version you're seeing me build right now does get rebuilt from scratch to a better design, so don't fret if you're watching this thinking what is he doing. It is built to a better design. I haven't tested it with buses yet, but I have tested it with trams, and it works flawlessly with the tram system, so it should work quite nicely with the buses as well. It's a lesson that I'm learning as I'm building these hubs, and in fact next episode you'll see the biggest lesson I've learned from building these new types of hubs. I won't dwell too much on that, but I will talk more about this one. There are 10 bus stops in this new hub in the final design. There are 2 metro stops, one to the north and one to the south, and there is one pre-metro hub area which will also be used for bus rapid transit. The design is as follows. On the surface level there is a one-way loop, kind of like an enlarged roundabout that circles around the Rathaus itself, as well as some other little pedestrianised streets that I've built here, there and everywhere. And then underground there's another one-way loop that links up all of the berths for the buses. The buses and trolleys are built 2 levels below ground, so -8 meters. The trams are built on the level below that at -16 meters, and the pre-metro is built below that at -24 meters. There will be an actual metro hub here as well, which will be built at probably -28 meters. Or it could also be built at -24 and built beside the pre-metro hub. You'll see a little bit more what I mean by that as the episode goes on. Now, as I say, this design took quite a long time to perfect. I'm very happy with the fact that I have lots of money in this game now. One thing I am tempted to do is to go into the rule set editor and change how much things cost. Up the price, essentially, to make the game just that little bit more challenging. Because I've got 5 million pounds, dollars, euros, whatever you want to call it at the moment. I think it's 5 million. It's 5 and then lots of numbers afterwards, which, you know, that's a lot of money. I don't need that much money. You know, 100,000 could get me by through most of this project and most of this series. So to have 5 million, that's a hell of a lot. So I will go and make the prices a little bit more realistic. What I will do, kind of like what I did with the capacity editing. You can see here how the hub isn't completely underground. There are some above ground sections. That's the bit that I wanted to point out. The Rathaus is built sort of beside and above the majority of the hub. Again, that will make more sense towards the end of the episode when you get to see the completed project. What was I talking about? Cost. Oh yeah. So what I did with the capacity is I looked up how what the capacity of an average tram, bus, and monorail vehicle were, and then I adjusted the rule set to make the game more realistic in that sense. So, for example, the monorail, I think the largest monorail I found, or the case study that I used was Walt Disney World. and the monorail's there. And I think it was each monorail could hold about 360 people. I'm going off memory here. I could be wrong. Please don't correct me because it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I'm sure it was around 300 people. So I made sure that my largest monorail could hold 300 people. Although I'm tempted to put that up again because really the Disney World monorail was built as a tourist attraction and there are monorails running frequently, whereas here it's about mass transit. So it's a bit like Crossrail and Thameslink trains. They can hold 1,000 people approximately. Crossrail's been delayed, by the way, at the time of me recording this. Crossrail has been delayed. Lots of people are saying it's a good thing and a bad thing. I think it's both. I think it's disappointing that it's been delayed, but I think it's wise that they've taken a decision to delay it now, so you don't have a repeat of what happened with Thameslink. You know, no one wants a repeat of what happened with Thameslink. So yeah, I will do the same with the cost. I'll go and have a look at how much these vehicles cost to actually build per train, let's say, with the monorail, and I'll make sure that the cost is reflective of that in the game. So let's say it costs 20 million to build. I don't even know. Let's say it costs 20 million to build 5 trains. So 4 million approximately to build a train. I can't make it 4 million to build a train in the game because I've only got 5 million. But I can make it 400,000, let's say. So divide it by 10. And that will make it a lot more realistic. That's the plan. What else was I going to talk about? I will let the music take over in a minute. I suppose I could talk about my break and the reasons behind my break. I think I touched on it last episode as well. Essentially, I needed to get away from my channel for a bit. It was getting to the point where I was dreading having to make videos, and it's no one's fault really. It's my own fault in many ways, I suppose. Like, I'm not blaming viewers. I'm not saying, you know, there's people there that are being toxic or anything like that. It's not that. It's more the case of I threw myself into my uni work earlier in the year, and I was so happy when it finished, my uni work, that I sort of forgot to take a rest, and it was almost like my channel and making videos was my rest, which, as we know now, is probably not the smartest thing to do. Take a holiday. It's my own personal guilt as well. I always feel like I'm letting people down when I don't upload videos. I've got no other way of explaining it other than saying that, really. And yeah, I know that I'm not letting people down when I don't upload videos, but even then, it's my own personal guilt. I like making videos. I like making people happy. It's just one of those things that's wired into me. So, I went straight from doing several months of project work and dissertation writing and things like that, and jumped straight back into making videos on a very, very, very beefed up schedule. And boy, it takes it out of you. I will be reviewing the schedule over the next couple of weeks. Nothing's final at this stage. I don't think this series will be affected yet. There are projects that I am going to be working on in the not too distant future which might end up affecting this series. I will explain more about that in a separate video, so stay tuned for that. But it's nice to be back now, because even though I was on my break and I wasn't supposed to be doing work, I was playing the game off camera for fun. And that's where this episode actually came about from. I was just playing the game for fun. Not really planning on doing anything major. No big rebuilds or anything like that. I was just doing a sweep of City West, looking to see where I could expand it in the future. And actually saw the perfect site for the Rathaus and its hub. And that's, you know, I immediately opened OBS and hit record and started making this video. Now, this part of the video, it does get a little bit a bit here and there, I think is the best way of saying it. In other words, the hub itself, the underground section of the hub, is technically finished, and at this point I'm building the above ground section. And you can see I didn't want to make it just 2 straight roads linked up at either end. I wanted there to be some operational interest, as it were. Plus the fact that I needed that junction to be spread out a little bit further so the tracks weren't too messed up, which they were when I first placed them. So I had the idea of building this curved road along the coastline there, with these pedestrian paths linking both sides together, and then the Rathaus will be built on this section here, between where the land slopes down to go into the hub tunnels, and also where the center of the hub comes out from underground again. And overall, I'm very, very pleased with the final result. I think it looks very, very nice. And here I'm getting ready to build the pre-metro platforms. Originally I just built a pedestrian path underground and linked it up. And I was going to build a second one, and I stopped myself thinking I probably don't need a second one. I'm tempted, because City West is so much bigger than City East, I am tempted to build a separate pre-metro line that just runs north to south in City West and doesn't actually go to New Tram Square. That's not confirmed yet, so again, you'll have to bear with me on that one. But for this little hub here, I feel like it needs more than just one pre-metro station. So we'll see about that. We will see about that. But that's basically the Rathaus done for this episode. You can see it here as well. I do build a water bus stop here as well, which again, I'm really happy with how that turned out. Just to build it right next to the path like I have done. And it's also another connection between the underground and ground level parts of the hub. And the way I place the water bus stop, it just about covers the catchment area for all of the bus stops and tram stops, which again, I'm really, really happy with. At this point, I'm renaming stops. This is the first time in this series that I have renamed stops. I will continue to rename stops so long as people keep leaving suggestions. Actually, no, it's not the first time I've renamed stops, is it? Because I renamed that metro stop. Of course I did. But I'm checking it now. I'm recording this on Saturday the 1st of September, so pinch punch first of the month and all that. That was... what was that? Oh, Creative Cloud binging in my ear. We have some more name suggestions. We do have some more name suggestions. Very nice, actually. Got some named after places in Hong Kong, which is very interesting. I like the descriptions that people leave as well. It makes it so much easier to actually place the stops where you guys want them. So I am very, very grateful for that. However, we do need more name suggestions still. It would be nice to have as many name suggestions as possible for the entire city. I can't believe for one second that there are people watching this video that don't have name suggestions for this city. You must have. Everyone does. Especially when I don't ask for people's opinions. They're more than happy to give them to me then. But I do need your name suggestions. So please go over to m4jmedia.com. Link will be in the description. In fact, depending on how I edit this video, maybe not this batch of videos actually, but the next lot, there will be new graphics as well for links that you can follow. So be sure to click on those. But yeah, head over to m4jmedia.com, go onto the interactions page, System Motion 2, and you can check out other people's suggestions as well as follow the link to the Google Sheets to leave your own. Please, please, please do that. It's very much appreciated whenever I go on there and see that people are engaging with the series. But yeah, this tram line and this avenue that I'm currently building, this is what is starting to form the backbone of the new City West. And overall, I'm quite happy with it. There are parts that I would perhaps like to change. I'm not entirely happy with the tram line that I end up building here. I think I will end up rerouting it once City West starts growing a little bit more. I wanted to link it to that hub that we built a couple of episodes ago with the water bus stop. And I also wanted it obviously to go through the Rathaus hub. And I think in the end, to get it back to New Tram Square, I kind of take this weird detour route. In fact, you can see me building it here with this new avenue. And it does happen in real life. You know, lines do cross over each other. And things like that, so it's not unrealistic necessarily, but it's still not something I'm 100% happy with, if that makes sense. But we'll see how it goes. This does also lead into, as it's the first time we've crossed the river to the west with a tram line. In fact, yeah, only a water bus line has crossed the river so far. So yes, this is the first time we've crossed into City West and actually carrying passengers. It did lead to an interesting idea for an east to west tram link that does still run through New Tram Square, or at least runs just to the north of it. But besides that, connects up City East to City West via that south central island. But again, that'll be built in the future once City West has expanded a little bit more. And again, I'm also thinking of doing a tram line from City Northwest to City Southwest. So basically north to south along City West. That's the plan. And again, that'll be a long time in the future. So this tram line is the first of a new type of tram line that I'm building in this city as well. I will touch more on this in next episode, which I'm probably going to record the audio for not long after I've recorded this episode, so it's still fresh in my mind. But this line originally started at New Tram Square, went over into City West, and then terminated at this stupid loop that I built. I then decided that that actually wasn't a very good idea, and rerouted it so that it starts in City West in a new depot, and then runs into New Tram Square, and then back out to City West. And like I said, I'll touch more on that in the next episode, and explain why I've decided to change the ideology of New Tram Square, because it's not just that line that has that new type of build. It's all of the lines now. All the tram lines in the city will be built to that new style. But like I said, I'll touch more on that next episode. I need to start wrapping up this episode because we are nearly done. It's been great having the break, guys, but I am very happy to be back. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and of course if you enjoyed the series, drop some comments down below with ideas for future episodes, and please do check out the name suggestions list, and either just to read it or to leave your own suggestions. It is, as I say, much appreciated. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for your continued support. Subscriber count is really good at the moment, so thank you again for that. And until next time, I will see you soon.